What's happening, fishing friends? Welcome to another episode. We got an unbagging today, and I'm excited for this one because this is probably one of my top 2 favorite bags that I've got so far from the Bank and Creek kit over at LureNet. I'm going to link all this and show you each one individually, but this one, and you'll see why, has some special colors, and it's one that anybody can use. Bank anglers, whether you're fishing from a boat, there's just a ton of good stuff in this one. So enough yapping, let's take a closer look. All right, let's take a look and see what we have here. I have to start with this one. This was the first thing to catch my eye when I opened the bag. This color is called Green Clown. Does that sound familiar? Well, this was one of the colors that I was catching them on with a 4-inch Ned Dinger, just a small, yum dinger deal, on an EWG Ned rig, and this thing absolutely, this color crushed. Crack this open and show you. You can see the top of it's like a, kind of your regular green pumpkin. It's got a few flakes in it, but flip it over. Oh, look at that. You got this like chartreuse holographic with orange, purple, black, different type of flake in there. Awesome little color, and the Helgramite has been one that has really produced for me. I like this on a little EWG Ned rig. Of course, you could, drop shot it, and there's other things you could do. But for me, Ned rig all day with this thing. It's an awesome little bud-looking lure. Looks like some sort of larvae or creature crawling around the rocks. And heck, it looks like a Helgramite. Maybe they're eating it for that. I don't know. But it's some tasty little bug, and it absolutely gets bit. So that was my favorite thing in here. And they did give us another Craw creaturey looking thing. These, I need to try these. I use these. I got them at Walmart like a long time ago, and I didn't have any tube jigs for it. And you can see here why. I was kind of disappointed because it's hollow. Hollow inside. It's made for a tube jig. So, just like you'd normally have a tube, you stick the jig up in there. It's got, kind of the rounded head. I think they actually gave you some, but that's what you've got. Kind of an alternative looking, little tube looking deal. Cool thing, from the Bank, I personally prefer the EWG Ned rigs. I think you just get hung a lot less. The color of this one is great. Very natural looking. They call it native Craw. I've got some blue I can put on the bottom of it, on the claws. Our Craws around here have claws that have blue on the bottom, so really natural looking color. Awesome little Craw looking lure. Let me see. Yes, they did include it. I like when they give you everything you need. These are the Great Lakes tube jigs, and they look a little bit more stout. These are 3/16 ounce, and they're a short shank, a short little compact tube jig. It's not your normal round tube jig head. You can see here, it's kind of got that sled belly to it, but it kind of comes up to a peak there. All the ones I've used are round, so let me try this. All you do is stick that in the front there, gently persuade it down to the end, pop your line tie through, and there you go. You have a little crawfish looking lure. Now I know my OCD people aren't going to be happy until I get this in the middle. There we go. Just like that. You can see you've got a little tiny compact crawfish looking thing. Of course, when you pop this, it's going to kick backwards just like a Craw. That's pretty neat looking. I like the color of that one. Now, I'm keeping all these. I'm opening these up. Usually I do a giveaway with these, but keeping this one, I'm opening them all up because I'm going to do a little fishing challenge. I'm going to take just this bag out, everything that's in here, and see, does this really catch them? Because this is for the March and April bag, so they go by 2 months. And again, I'll link everything down below. I'll leave my discount code. Anything you get over at LureNet, whether it's these, you can buy these individually, Helgramites, whatever you buy over there, get a discount, and then a little bit of that comes back to me to help out my channel. So what do you think? Think I can catch a couple Midwest dinks on that? Now make sure you stay to the end. I'm going to go over some of these. There's some other kind of cool news for, of course, all the forward-facing sonar nerds out there. They're going to love this stuff. But as a, just a peasant bank angler that I am, I can see some use for some of these too, and I'm going to show you. But still in the bag here. So these don't come in the bag. These are extras that I got. But this one does come in the bag. This is the Yum 3.5 Pulse Tommy Gun color, which I like. Pretty natural looking, kind of a bullfroggy, sunfish looking green pumpkin top, kind of a lighter, yellowy cream color belly. But this is meant to go with a little 5/16 mobster, excuse me. I was saying monster. Mobster swim jig, excuse me. And these are pretty nice. I hadn't ever used these until like, a year ago? They sent me some of these to try out, and they're actually a pretty sweet little swim jig. You can see it's got the spear type head, and then it comes off to an angle. So as it's going through grass and stuff, it actually helps split that and go through it. So it's pretty neat. I like it. Solid swim jig with a normal hook. So many of the companies are making these. They'll call them like a super line or a, extra, triple heavy wire for, super grassy, crazy stuff, down in Okeechobee, you're fishing it on 50-pound braid. But here in the Midwest, I usually don't need that. We've got some heavy stuff, but I like just a regular wire hook. You can see it's good and sharp there. Now, if we rig this up, because these are meant to go together. People ask me about this, rigging your plastic straight on these. I always lay the plastic next to the jig, and you see where that hook is right there? I take the point of my hook and just break a little hole in it so I know where that needs to go. Take your brush guard, fold it back, Try to thread this down in through the middle as straight as you possibly can. Try not to get it kinked up, which I might have just done there. Find that little spot right there where I ripped it, and I'm going to come up right in the middle here. Thread that up on here. This has the dual wire keepers, which really keeps it rigged nice and straight. And there you go. That is a nice profile little finesse swim jig, 5/16 ounce for bank fishing. That is awesome. Throw that around the shallows, target cast. This is like a perch color really to me. Bluegill, you know, really mimic either of those. That looks sweet. I can see that working without an issue at all. Next, I believe this is another custom color, Amber Night. And this is interesting because it reminds me of some old craws that I used to have in this color. Now, nowadays, I really don't throw this type of color, this like orangey rust color. I really don't have luck on it anymore. I had some craws back in the old days that looked just like this color, and I caught them on it, but it's just not a confidence color for me. But the Yum Dinger, you know, one of the all-time favorites out there. They don't cost a ton. They hold up pretty darn well. Yum Dinger has a little bit slower fall rate to it. Now in here, they did give you the Pro Wacky Ned Rig Hooks. So you could Ned rig it. You could Wacky rig it. I personally like this with a weighted Wacky rig better. You know, use your like little O-rings on it. And with a weighted Wacky rig hook, it falls better. It kind of helps accentuate that movement when you Wacky rig it. So I still like these, still use them. Or if you're fishing really shallow and want a slower fall, you can go to something like this. If you want it to fall faster, something like, you know, a Yamamoto Senko, something like that has a higher salt content will fall faster. But for the shallows, I've sight fished a number of fish with these, just a regular old Yum Dinger. Oh, I didn't even notice this. They did give you some Ned Rig hooks, so I suppose you could use these on, if you cut down your Ned Dinger or your Yum Dinger, you can essentially just cut this down into a Ned Rig. You could maybe use this on some of the craws or something, but these are always nice just to have. They do the 1/8 and the 12th ounce. 12th is still good for bank fishing. I like it. Last but not least in here is one that I have been wanting to try. Every time I went to try to get these, they have been out. This is the Great Lakes Finesse. Just now, they've started releasing some of these. You see a lot more of it. A lot of smallmouth stuff. I had never even heard of these guys until I think last year. But man, they're making some neat stuff. You can see this is their little Finesse Underspin. What do they call it? Does it have a name? I don't know. Something Finesse Underspin, but look at that thing. Man, it is good. What color? Or size 3/16. Man, that is a do-it-all nice little finesse underspin there. And then they gave you some of these. We can rig one up and show you. I like that color, like a trout almost. They call that color Siren. Let's rig one up. 3-inch. This is the Scottsboro Young collab that they did, and I like these. I've used these a couple times, and they are nice little swim baits. I'm going to do the same thing here. Measure it up there. It's about right there. Take that, cut just a little hole in it. That might have been a little aggressive of a hole that I just made there. That's all right. Make sure I come out the middle, and with your swim baits, you always want to make sure you get these rigged up as straight as possible so they swim nice and straight for you. And there you go. That's a cool little finesse looking underspin. I have zero doubt that'll catch them around here. Underspin is a great one. I think it's becoming a lot more popular these days. Almost like a finesse spinnerbait, really, right? Little bait ball of fish with a little flash to it. Looks good. I really like that. So that's in the bag. Again, I'll link it down below. This is a pretty dang good bag. Like I said, probably one of my top 2 favorites. That's got a bunch of goodies, but if you didn't guess already what I was going to show you, it's the new Yum Sonar Minnows. So this is the standard one. I think that's a 3-inch if I remember right. You've seen these. These are, you know, a lot popular now. A lot of guys are throwing them. So they came out with a couple larger sizes, the 4-inch and the 5-inch. So just to show you all these compared to each other, this is the 3-inch. This is how guys are rigging it. When I talk about like a forward-facing sonar, it's really just a Demiki rig, more vertical type fishing. They call it like what, mopping or moping or hover rigging. I don't know all the names now, but anyway, you know, it's just a vertical type of little fish style bait. So you've got the 3-inch, 4-inch, and then the girthy 5-inch. Look at that one. My goodness, look at the difference between the 3 and the 5. Ooh. Does have a forked tail, so I suppose you could even throw just some of these like a fluke, you know, just rig it with a light hook. You could nose rig these, you could do a drop shot, but like I said, this is all the rage now. But, you know, I don't do a bunch of that forward-facing sonar stuff, so I was thinking, what are a couple other uses? And 2 things that came to mind. Number 1, oh, you're fishing some dirty water this spring? Yeah, a lot of these storm fronts come through, muddies up the water, it can get pretty gross. Let's say I take one of these, throw it on a spinnerbait. I don't want something that's going to have a bunch of, you know, flap. It's going to mess my spinnerbait up. I've told you all before I like to use flukes on this. This gives it bulk, makes it easier to cast, gives it a bigger profile. You can see there in the water. It helps outline that. And with this, just has a lot more water displacement. Throw on a Colorado blade like that. In cold water, a little white and chartreuse with that big thing, I guarantee there's going to be some big fish around here. I mean, I'm not going to be catching them, but somebody will throw this and catch some big fish. Oh, look at that. Also, Let's say I grab one of these 4-inch versions. This is the JC Natural. It's a good color. It's got like a green pumpkin, kind of a white top. Let's say I get crazy here. Throw this on the back of a old chattering bug for a little razzle dazzle. And look what you get here. Slide that baby on there. How many times have I told you one of my favorite chatterbait vibrating jigs? This happens to be a Strike King Thunder Cricket. But you throw a chatterbait, whatever vibrating jig you like, and throw a straight tail type of worm on here. In this case, like a fluke or this sonar minnow. Any one of these like this, and that doesn't fight with your chatterbait. A lot of people will still tell you, oh, if you use a paddle tail on a chatterbait, you're doing it wrong. No, I do like to use straight tails. I still use a paddle tail, but straight tails like this, they don't interfere with your chatterbait at all. So this is chatter, and this little piece back here, look, just barely moving it, and look at all that's got to it. Ding, 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 ding. Awesome way to rig these up. So there's a number of uses you can use these for. The 3-inch, 4-inch, and 5-inch now they've released. I think this will definitely get some bites around in my area. Let me know. Comment below, out of all these that I showed you here, what was your favorite? I want to know your favorite because, like I said, I'm going to take all these out and kind of do a little day challenge with just this bag. You know, are they worth it? Will they catch fish? You know, what you're getting in here, is it actually good stuff? And I really, really like this one. So for the way things are going now, the Ned Rig has been really the only thing to get bites for me this year. So cold water, we're still in the low 40s here. I hope I can get out this weekend, catch a few. And I think these, everything that I've got here, from spinner baits to trailers to the sonar minnow, Ned Rigs, I don't think it'll be a problem catching some on this. So comment below and let me know your favorite. Again, my subscribe fishing friend for today, I didn't have anybody ready. You know what? It's all of you that, you know, end up going over and shopping at LureNet or, you know, Tackle Warehouse, supporting me and my sponsors. Helps make me do this so I can do these videos. I can buy extra gear to, you know, to do the reviews, giveaways on my Saturday Night Lives, which will be coming back soon. But listen, I appreciate the heck out of all of you. Again, I wouldn't be here doing this if it wasn't for all of you continuing to support me. Even though I'm busy, I'm going to try to get back to at least 2 videos a week, sometimes maybe 3 bonus. But that's enough for me. Love y'all. I'll see you in the next video. Till next time.